Please join us as we go to places that still hold the hopes and memories and dreams of those who came before. This is the Ohio River from the south side of Lawrenceburg at the park of the Deerfield Park Trail. We're looking across the river to Kentucky, and we're going to turn and look down the river toward some bridges and some factory area down there. Yep, Ohio River from the south side of Lawrenceburg. Absolutely beautiful up here. It is, it is. I do believe that is my old Kentucky home, sitting on the side of the Ohio River. Or at least it's somebody's old Kentucky home on the Ohio River. That must be quite a sight from up there. I'm walking down what is essentially a dam that protects Lawrenceburg from the flooding Ohio River. They got a nice walkway trail up here, but it's utilitarian also. This walkway trail dam protects the city for when the river floods. Now it's a little better seen from right here. Yeah, I'm gonna walk a little further down. Please like and subscribe. Right there is some form of a dock where people can go out and get on their boat. I don't know whether it's a private dock, but it's a dock. And here's the river from this vantage point down here. Looking back down. There's the trail I came from. Yeah, looks like a beautiful, beautiful place. It does. At an earlier date, the citizens of Lawrenceburg were well aware of the occasional overflow from the Ohio River into the community. Their earliest measures to protect themselves involved raising the level of its streets and the construction of embankments. During the 19th century, the high bluffs that parallel the Ohio River bank south of the New Street and the embankments which held the tracks of the Indianapolis and Cincinnati, later the Big Four Railroad, and the Ohio and Mississippi, later the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad, provided other flood barriers during most of the 19th century. The consecutive floods of 1882 and 1883 and 1884 caused the building of a levee in Lawrenceburg, a project funded with both local and funded federal funds, and one of only two such projects in the state that received longer national appropriation at the time. The 68-foot high levee withstood the small the smallest freshets of 1897 and 1898, and the near flood of 1907. But after this last threat was covered with stone slabs and concrete. After the devastating floods in 1913 and 1937, the Lawrenceburg took further action to protect itself from the wrath of the Ohio River through the construction of even higher flood wells in the 1920s and between 1937 and 1941. Lawrenceburg turned its back on the Ohio, transforming itself into a walled city fortified against its natural enemy. The Lawrenceburg Levee Walk is one of the first opportunities to reestablish the city's connection with the Ohio River. The following is read from the website of the Lawrenceburg, Indiana Conservancy District. The flood of 1937. On January 21, 1937, the worst flood ever recorded in the Ohio Valley region breached the Lawrenceburg Levee at the west end of the B&O Railroad. The winter snowfall pack of 13.5 inches 3 weeks prior, combined with the heavy rains of early January, caused the river level to rise to 82.6 feet, almost 11 feet higher than the flood of 1913. More than 300 men worked to try to shore up the levee. Despite their efforts, the destruction was massive. 365 houses were totally swept away. 300 houses were removed from their foundations. 150 homes suffered damage, and 1 fatality was recorded. A tent city of 220 units, housing approximately 1,000 homeless residents, was constructed on vacant land near Ridge Avenue just outside the Greendale town limits. Residents far and wide who lived on higher ground opened their homes to complete strangers. As soon as the floodwaters receded, work began to repair the damaged levee. Planning to rebuild the levee began in September of 1937 and featured a system of pumps and relief wells. Federal funding was applied for in 1937, and in June of 1939, $900,000 of federal funding was approved. Construction started in July 1940 and was completed in October 1943 under the direction of the Lawrenceburg Flood Control District, predecessor of today's Lawrenceburg Conservancy District. Along the way, 3 men lost their lives, 10 houses were removed, several houses and barns were demolished to accommodate the new levee. The fairgrounds and the old cemetery were moved. Tanner's Creek was realigned to provide protection for Seagram's distillery, and nearly 2.5 million cubic yards of earth were moved. Lawrenceburg was founded by Samuel C. Vance, who built this grand house between 1816 and 1818. Attributed to Francis Costigan, Madison, Indiana's master builder, the house displays influences of both the Federal and the Georgian styles. The original riverfront orientation of the house was complemented by the cedar tree lined road that led from the river to the front entrance. After Vance's death in 1830, the property hosted a short-lived agricultural college and later the residence of businessman and real estate magnate Omer Towsey. After 1874, it was in the possession of 2 families, the latter of which divided the house into rental apartments. In 1926, the house was converted into the house for the Lawrenceburg Roller Mill Company, the largest flour milling concern in the state. Surrounded by industrial concerns since the 1870s, the house was further encroached upon by grain warehouses in its former front yard by the mid-20th century. The house now serves as the headquarters of the Dearborn County Historical Society. Please like and subscribe. When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll. Whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. Well, folks, it's time to head back that way. I gotta get back to the vehicle. I got places to go and people to meet. I'll see you a little later. Maybe I'll add a little more to this film shortly. This is the tunnel to nowhere. Let's look at this thing. It's an old high-wheeler. Dearborn Trail, Lawrenceburg, Indiana, established 2007. Let's go for a ride, all aboard. All right, just thought I'd stop here on my way by. This is the old Roxy roller rink in Rockford, Indiana. This roller rink was once owned by a guy named Joe Mellencamp, who was the uncle of John Mellencamp, the professional famous singer. Many people have skated here over the decades. Many scoops of ice cream and Big Reds were served over the soda counter here. Lots of laps around the wooden roller rink floor. The river, which is at that bridge up there, which we'll see in a little while, the river floods here a lot and has flooded the roller rink and has ruined the floor. The weather's ruined the roof and everything else. It's probably going to get destroyed because no one is interested in roller skating at the Roxy roller rink anymore. As you can see, it says Roxy roller rink. Rock for Rockford, C for Seymour. The Roxy Roller Arena. Many, many, many Saturday evenings have been spent here enjoying people's selves, skating and partying together a little bit and having a good old time. And here comes the truck. Here we are. We are at the Rockford Dam, and this is the East Fork of the White River. There is the Seymour water treatment plant where they take in water, clean it up, treat it with chlorine, pipe it into Seymour as potable water. There we go. We're looking at the dam and on beyond. There's the dam a little closer up and you can see down below. Now we're going to turn here and look across the bridge, and we're going to see the river going the other way. Getting ready to see a truck pass us. There he goes. The bridge is shaking. Now I'm going to cross the bridge to the other side, and we're going to look at the East Fork of the White River from the other side, up the river from the dam. As you can see, the river is swelled quite a bit, and this is kind of like a reservoir formed by the dam that helps them to have water for Seymour. The claim is that eventually they're going to get ready to tear out the dam, and this waterway here would shrink considerably down to about 1/3 of its size. It wouldn't be nearly this wide. There is a private camping club right there beside the river. Been here for a great many years. I don't know what the outcome of that would be if they shrink the river. But there we are, the East Fork of the White River. I figure since we've already looked at the Ohio River, we would look at one more river in our travels for this video. Here we go. And I'm going to shut her off for now. Here's another scene of the river from a little further on the bridge. Absolutely beautiful for sure. The claim is that there was a time when the river was deep enough and big enough that steamboats could come up the river here, up to the Rockford area. It's no longer like that. They used to bring keel boats up and down the river to deliver grains and various things, meats, other goods up and down the river to do commerce back in the late 1800s. Anyway, the town's Rockford that we might see in a little bit, where this is near, used to use this river as commerce, a lane of commerce. Anyway, have a good day. Here's another shot of the Roxy roller rink coming down off the bridge that we were just on. There's the bridge over the river, and as we turn, we can see just how close the roller rink is to the river. And when it would flood, it would come around in here, and this will be underwater here in the parking lot, and flood out the roller rink and ruin the wooden floor. Thank you for going with Places in Time, 2 Places in Time. Places that still ring with the memories, hopes, and desires of those who came before.